what is your name, where are you from, and what do you do for work?
So my name is Emmanuel Ochiri. I work with the European Network Against Racism in Brussels, but I also am a part of the organizing team of the Children's Rights Conference, along with Fons Koolman and Marike Hopman, and of course with the University of Maastricht and the Eastern Mediterranean University Teachers Association.
My name is Marike Hopman. I am from the Netherlands, from Maastricht specifically, and I am a children's rights researcher.
Having researched these de facto states and having been there, what are some problems that you face either yourself or you've seen other people face?
I would say one of the main problems for children's rights protection in de facto states is that as entities they are excluded from international law. So in a way, these children don't have any rights because this is an international convention and it doesn't apply to de facto states. They cannot become signatories to this convention, so the children don't have any rights at all.
Very interesting, my experience here. I think that for me, the most challenging thing living in northern Cyprus for 8 years was the lack of procedures in many ways. I mean, of course, there's many other things, but I think that other things are also present in other countries, like racism, like discrimination. That's present in de facto and says that in de facto. But I think that here specifically was a lack of procedures, a lack of of rules, of engagement, of laws. Of course, there are laws, but in terms of the applicability of these laws, always problematic. And then the fact that it's not recognized internationally meant that not all of the laws, human rights laws, are necessarily applicable here.
Yeah. How can people living in de facto states create changes in the law?
I think that for people in de facto states, I think the most important thing is for the people living here, for example, in Northern Cyprus or in other de facto states, to first recognize, and I think that people do recognize it, that de facto states recognize or unrecognize, those are political terms. At the end of the day, is how can we who live in a particular territory, whether it is recognized or not, actually create the conditions within these territories that actually support human rights, that actually allow us to live productive lives that are in line with human rights, conditions, lives that allow us to be respectful to one another. I think that for me, that's the most important thing once we have this communal agreement.
Many things. I think they should speak up, share the stories, specifically of children. They should empower children and train them to be able to spread their voices like you guys are doing right now, which is really powerful. I think that's so important. So create platforms that they can share their voices. At the international level, people like, for example, at UNICEF or at the Children's Rights Committee should create space for these children from de facto states to be able to share their situation, what's happening to them. As adults, basically, we should just be listening much more to children from de facto states.
What do you wish to come out of this conference?
I'm hoping that we can have constructive, concrete ideas for all kinds of actors, like from NGOs, from international organizations, from UN members, concrete ideas for how they can better protect children's rights. In de facto states, obviously.
I think that, we often say that young people are the future, but I think that young people are not the future. Young people are the present and, of course, the future. So it's not just about the future. And I think that, especially in de facto states, what young people can do is actually, first of all, reimagine a different kind of society. Because a lot of the time, even when I was young as well, I lived a huge part of my life with the ideologies, the ideas, the knowledge that was produced by people who were not living in the times that I was living. So I think it's really about reimagining the future. For young people living in de facto states, what kind of state do you want to imagine yourself living in the future? And so if this is what you imagine in the future, then what are you doing right now to actually achieve that in the future? So I think that young people have the most important role to play, and our role as adults is not to imagine the society for young people, but it is to support young people, to amplify their voices. So young people telling us this is what we need, and how can we as adults with the resources that we have, how can we support young people? And I think in this sense, young people have to be really very outspoken, really have to be very demanding, request what they want. Of course, there's a lot of pressure on young people, but I think that we need to reimagine society, and that means that the society that we reimagine has to be the society that you want it to be, another society that we want, because we have failed in many cases, and I think that it's really on young people to try to teach us to be better.
Yeah. And if you could say one thing to young people living in the Facto States, what would you say?
Believe in yourselves. That's the one thing I would say. Believe in yourself.
Please listen better to children from the Facto States.
Yes, thank you.